Yeah.
There are 100 drugs with unpronounced names. 100.
Yeah.
100 that Aussies suffer based on evidence that they put there.
Yeah.
And we piss around in farming and we pretend
Yeah.
the evidence is not there.
Yeah. Look, I'm a huge defender of Farmac, other than one thing. Farmac, in terms of having the financial strength to negotiate with massive multinationals. If we didn't have Farmac, if we just had DHBs buying drugs, you would be spending 50% more. The one thing that Farmac and I think it's MedSafe aren't quick enough on is the approvals process. It's not necessarily the funding, it's approving it.
It's definitely the funding. We're far too far behind. We get this Farmac is the enemy of the world. Yes, you can come back and say that that's a good thing. But if you're that far behind, if we're bottom on the OECD,
yeah, okay, well I'll take that away, But I mean, there are some very significant issues around the amount of money that can be spent. And some of those drugs, and there's always contention around it, when you're funding drugs with the same therapeutic outcomes, but doctors themselves disagree about whether that's the case or not. Yeah, but, like you say, health, but the tax system, of course, is one which we had a good look at. I'll be honest, I'm an advocate of capital gains tax, but we couldn't get that past the New Zealand public. It turns out that that wasn't considered to be acceptable, even though it was, only the increase, the unearned increase on assets and not your family home, but that wasn't acceptable. So, it's one of those things. Yeah.
What are you going to say about the shutting down of New Zealand Water Purification Limited?
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
not
good.
familiar with
That's a good point. Yeah, you do. No, that's part of your thing. It's on your. You're part of that.
Ministry of Health went in and shut him down.
Yes.
Took all his product. It's a New Zealand water purification product. How do you not want New Zealanders to have pure water?
So you're the guys who follow me around regularly?
No, we're walking.
I'm just asking you a simple question. You went and sent the Ministry of Health and the police in to shut down a water purification product company.
I'm not familiar with the issue.
It's a family-run business, and you cleaned him out of all his product.
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so do you know what New Zealand Water Purification Limited does? It provides a water purifying product. And you guys sent Ministry of Health and the police in, took all his product, even the bottles that didn't have a label on it. So how can you legally do that? There's nothing in it, there's nothing on it. You took even those. It's illegal. You're a fiction. You're a fiction. And you're shutting down people that are supplying a good product for people.
Something as well.
Yeah.
You're just tarring all these people here. We're all different. We've all got different opinions.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Dan.
So, a difference of opinion is suddenly like you're a faction. You're doing it now. You're just writing us off. But my issue is freedom of speech. There's no freedom of speech on Facebook.
No. Because they take that shit down.
That's because they're controlling it. They take it down. They have access to it.
I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah.
I put something on Facebook and two policemen turn up and they want to know what you're thinking.
Well, you don't get much more free speech than this, do you? It's just staying on a screen.
No, it's not, because it's going to be gone soon.
What are your thoughts about them shutting this family-run business down? A good church-going Christian man and his family are harassed by police and Ministry of Health. You've got nothing to say about it.
Christians are nothing anymore.
You've got no knowledge of it. What would you say to somebody that was going to have to deal with that?
Yeah,
most of us here.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. Obviously, one of the big issues is, the planning changes around what's going on in the inner city. And I have heard some people, with a little, with some concern around it. Having said that, I'm also a huge advocate of huge frustrations for an inner city MP, out in the leafy suburbs of St Albans and down there, they're crying foul because of the motorway which is fundamentally assisting people who live in Rangiora, Woody, come into town, and it's just makes me, it's a crying shame that you've got people who are buying houses out there rather than having inner city houses. So I think intensification is really good. There's a lot of work in Christchurch to be done in respect of the national policy statement on urban planning, urban development. Yeah, and I can see a few nods there. You know, that's a policy statement, and we've got to have a very close look at what that means to Christchurch. And certainly, you know, there's the statement, the one that most people are most concerned about is the kind of 6-story limit. Yeah, got some odds. Yeah, well, you know, I think there's. Well, I mean, and obviously, if it's on a major arterial route, because the idea is that it's close to major public transport routes or in a city area, you know. So I don't think that's altogether a bad thing. But because the other thing you've got to remember is it's still got to meet things like recession plates and things like that. So you're not going to be able to get 6 stories out of here. It would go straight up into a peak. Trey, what was your question or comment?
I just said it was, you know, we could actually all say a good
What's happened here with the earthquake for inner city living is destroying it. So you're not going to want people to come in.
Can you just clarify that? What's destroyed in the city living?
All the stuff that's happened here since the earthquake.
the high density that's being in this area.
Airbnbs, look, in terms of intensification...
It'll make the government money.
In terms of intensification, you know, I'm actually a proponent, I'm going to be really honest, not pretend I'm something I'm not. I'm a proponent of intensification. I think people living closer together when you're right in the inner city like this, with inside the 4 Avs, is a good thing. So this is relatively intense, but still not.
But it's 2 stories, it's not 6.
Yeah, well that's true. But there's no suggestion that down here you're going to get 6-story buildings.
That's not true.
Well, this is why I say there's a lot of work to be done around how, because that policy statement is not the district plan. The job for the city council, and obviously the job for the community in advocating, is to say, well, when it says in a metropolitan area on a major public transport route, what does that mean for Christchurch? Now, and there's a question about, well, because from here to get to the bus station, it's still going to take you, I don't know, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. So, I'm talking walking, obviously walking. So, you're not close to a major public transport route.
We hear the same thing. We hear the same thing. Like how you said, from stage 1 you get to the bus, you go there. It's just like Jacinda. She borrows the money to pay the media out, and what you are doing is doing the same thing as the media. You fucking lie, and you lie.
It's a job of politicians.
Right.
It's like,
but the Airbnb. That is a
no freedom of speech, guys. That's cut out. You get arrested today.
Can I just say, for the first time, I got emailed by a advocacy group called Homestay, which is Airbnb. It's basically people who have Airbnbs. So this is the first time I'd seen that, sort of telling me how important they were. Now, if you're living in your house and you're away for 6 weeks and you want to make a bit of extra money, got no difficulty with that. But having an empty unit which is being used as exclusively professional accommodation, it's just a planning issue. It wasn't designed for that. The zoning isn't for that, and we need to. And the council, I know the city council is looking at that. And even the safety around it. So a motel unit will have higher fire safety standards than a domestic dwelling. It needs to be on top of that.
Commercial activity in a residential area.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble.
Yep.
Commercial activity trying to snuff you in all the time.
Yeah.
I see you're welcoming the...
Thanks, Dr. Guy.
I see you're welcoming the youth club, the shovel-ready coach. That's an inbox in Sue.
Yeah, I'm in touch with Sue Bagshaw. Look, I think at least Sue does some fantastic work.
No, we're not talking about the good work.
But anyway, and she has to go for a consent for that. I'm well aware of that. I've spoken.
You're coming out in the brochure and you're supporting.
And and I am supportive of the work that Sue does. But if you'd like to speak to Sue,
I think everybody here is supportive of the work she does, but she's trying to put a commercial development into an area that's once residential, and that's the part that's wrong about it.
And I'm aware, in the process as to whether that goes ahead or not, you know very well. He's twisting it. Is the resource consent process. So, you know, and I'm in touch with Sue on that. And if you'd like to speak to Sue about that project, I'm sure she'll. Yeah.
We're all involved.
Okay.
But why are you saying that? Why are you saying that when Labour, they didn't win the votes? Oi, you know when the most votes win. Like use I've been hearing you the whole time we've been here. And it's a bloody joke. Like, okay, when we're talking about this voting, okay, the voting block, the most votes win, get into Parliament. Less
Under
than one.
Agenda 2030,
But
Christchurch has been allocated as a sanctuary city.
I've
Has it not?
got to go there.
Has it not? Under Agenda 2030, has this city been allocated as a sanctuary city situation under Agenda 2030? Well, ask him. This has got to do with that.
You have your say and then you be quiet, please.
And if they don't go through,
I've got to wait another 20 days from my bloody official information request because they're too lazy to do what their job is. The New Zealand government currently is a
you've got to give them that time frame, otherwise they don't know the time frame.
They're lying
Love
to
the
us.
tag.
Thank you. Yeah.
I should have worn my.
Kaitiaki,
I should've-
Oti Tangata. I'm a caretaker of the people and I'm trying to get what's right for the people.
I should have worn my flag.
Yeah.
I put it in the car and then
There's one right there.
didn't know I was coming up here.
Yeah, look, I'm going to jump quick on that. I'm not going to give you off the cuff, you know, response.
It's disappointing to see that you were supporting $1 billion traffic.
Bloody shills.
No, it's not to us.
Because they're criminals. That's why they're supporting them.
Property that it's going to be built on is not all residential because it's along Salisbury
It's on the old
Street,
bowling
which
club,
was
isn't it?
You just wait. Soon they'll tell me my quarter-acre section's too big for me, and they'll kick me off.
Absolutely. That's what they want.
The reason that they bought for it is because residential land
Hey,
is cheaper.
The other thing I'd like to ask you is
I'm going to rush off soon.
today we hear that there's no tolerance for speeding over the limit on the roads.
Why did the government bring in that?
I haven't heard that.
Oh, you
Oh,
news since last night.
News since last night.
Oh,
There is
there you
no
go, 12
tolerance.
government.
There's no
And it's in now.
It's in now.
So, I mean, so
You get no tolerance. Not
It's
even
been
one
fine.
lane. You might be going down the hill, creep over one
So
way
what's
over the limit.
it's a funny thing, that, isn't it? So,
As soon as everybody finds that out, they're going to be speeding.
and I've just come from just across the other way where a woman's had her fence crashed into 3 times, and she said to me, "Can you get them to figure out and stick to the speed limit?" You know. So if we do have a speed limit, if the speed limit, if it says 50, so a speed limit. We've got a traffic engineer here.
Yeah, I can say something to that if you want. I don't think the police is going to nab you if you go 1 or 2 k's over.
Why did they put it in place then?
What the rules as they currently are, with the tolerance as it is,
There's no tolerance now, it's
what
gone.
it basically means is do 60 in a 50k area and you'll
Yeah.
be right. And so we are now taking that tolerance away, and that will
Legally.
reduce crashes.
And I guess the lawyer, would be away.
Really good thing to do.
They just got consultants and paid millions of dollars to
if we
get
have
to tell
tolerance,
you
what is
that
the
they're
limit?
not going to give any
Is it
tolerance.
52 or is it 53?
Well, you're saying no tolerance now.
What's the rule? What's the rule?
The rule up till yesterday was 10k.
No, it wasn't. It was nothing like that. So then the rule is you can go 60.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem.
Well, that's the problem. So nobody knows what to do. So if we make a
You
law.
know what the rule is. You do something.
No. Right, hey guys, I'm going to run away, but look, you've put me through my paces today. Bloody good on you.
What about why are you supporting
Still no answers. Not one.
Typical Labour.
Yeah.
This is no tolerance bullshit. I can connect my. I got a wee device which I can plug into my OBD2 port on either of my cars.
Yeah.